So this is probably the closest thing you're gonna get to a bubble text chat box for either your Twitch or YouTube. The thing about this is you don't have to download anything, you don't have to subscribe to anything, and you don't need to do any custom coding. And if you want to get straight into the video, skip to this time here. There are chapters as well, so you can go ahead and get where you need to go to. For those who don't mind, what is up guys, it's Average here. Welcome to my channel. This is my very first tutorial video, so I hope it goes well. But if you do enjoy this video, make sure you give it a like and let me know in the comment section down below what I can improve on or what you would like to see next. So let's get started. Alrighty, first things first, open Google Chrome or whatever. Owned TV, Owned Pro. You're gonna go to Owned TV. It's OWN3D for owned, whatever. It does look very chaotic, but you're gonna go ahead and log into Pro. And then you're going to go ahead and sign in with either your Twitch, YouTube, or even TikTok. I'm going to go ahead and do Twitch. Make sure you have your username and password ready, or it's going to automatically sign you in if you have all of your passwords saved on Google. And it does take a little bit longer for you to get logged in and kind of go through everything, but you do not have to subscribe to anything or pay for anything. Remember that. You're going to want to see your profile picture, your name, and you can just go ahead and scroll down here. This should be empty. We're going to go ahead and create a new scene. Desktop. This does say like beginner recommended. You're gonna go ahead and single scene it and then select an empty scene as well. And this is what you should be seeing here. Now you're gonna go ahead and go on the left hand side, add widget, skip all of this, go straight to live and go to ChatBox. You can just click on it, but see here it says connected. Just for me in this video, I'm gonna go ahead and just extend this a little bit wider, kind of like the way chat boxes are usually placed. Next, you're going to go to settings. You can drag this anywhere. It doesn't get any bigger. You start off with platform. Since I only have Twitch connected, you're only going to see Twitch. Make sure that's just there. Once you go to theme, you're going to click on the default and go straight to bubbles. And on options, we're going to make sure we enable test mode while we're doing this. And you can go ahead and already see that this is the bubble text chat that you are probably here for, but we're going to go ahead and customize it so it fits your channel and, you know, go through all of the customization options just so it is as unique as possible. So we're going to leave test mode on. We're going to ignore hide old messages. I personally hide commands like the exclamation point, either socials, exclamation point, music on. I'm gonna leave the show platform on just in case you do multi-stream, and we're gonna leave the direction going bottom up, but if you want to change it, it can go from top down. The animation does not change. It still pulls in from the bottom up with a fade and then goes down. So I'm just gonna leave it bottom up because the fade works better that way. Next, if you click on emotes, I personally like enabling as much, you know, third-party emotes as I can, just so I make sure that they show up on stream. A lot of people would like to use extensions. I don't mind that at all. I enable all of them, and you can see how the emotes actually look on here. Own TV does have their own moderating system, so you can go ahead and type in whatever user you want to hide from your chat. Let's say if I type in that. I'm not going to do that though. So after moderate, if you go ahead and scroll this way, you're going to see color. And this is where the customizing begins. We have username. If left unchecked, every single chatter will have a different color based on, you know, who they are in your stream. But if you check this off, you can actually change the color of every single chatter. So let's say our theme is purple and white. You can go ahead and change their names themselves to purple. That's a little bit pink, but yeah, we can go ahead and just match it with the Twitch icon maybe. Again, if you're multi-streaming or just using it on YouTube, you can probably change that to red, and there we go, it's red right there. But we're going to leave that unchecked for now that you know what that does. For the next one, it's the background. If left unchecked, it is just like kind of like an off-white, but if we check it off, you can see that it turns into whatever color you want. I'm gonna put it to this purple just so it's not too bright, kind of like a soft purple. There is no title for the last one, but this is the background for the usernames themselves. Let's say purple and black just for this video. Maybe you can change it to like a sort of like a grayish black there. One of the last options that we need to mess with is font, where we don't need to mess with this. There's no coding involved. And here, if you do know the specific name of a font, it might be here. I don't know if all of them actually work with this specific chat box, but we're going to go ahead and use Rubik, and we're going to do the extra bold one. Here you can customize the color of the font. So let's do like a black. That's what it looks like. I think that looks pretty clean. And then you can customize the size of the font. Now, however large or small you do put the font, it is gonna make the boxes a little bit bigger. But again, we're able to transform this. So if you want them to look, you know, less condensed, less squished, just make sure you customize the transformation. Every time you click your scene, it is gonna take away the settings. So make sure you click on the chat box itself, go to settings, and just go back where you were. You have left align, which is pretty standard. Center align for any other reason, and then the right align if you know you want the chat to come from this way. I'm gonna leave it as left. It looks the best. A little bit more customization options for you to try. You're gonna go ahead and mess with this opacity slider. You're able to be precise with it as well and use this. I'll make it see-through a little bit, that's the word. And if you make it too see-through, just make sure you could always mess with the font color. And you know, it could be like that. It's still purple, it's still black. There are actually a lot of ways that you can kind of mix and match. And this is how it looks without any border or anything. It's a little bit see-through. Just depending on what you're playing or doing, you can add whatever you want to the back and it'll shine through or whatever. I'm going to show you one more thing that does help. If you click on the chat box on the left hand side, you can go ahead and add a shadow. Now, this is the default and it does show kind of like a weird box around it. Like it's not that great, but if you click on it again, let's go ahead and just make it white. But if you click on the shadow settings, you can go ahead and actually customize the shadow itself. So it's off center horizontally and vertically by 4. So you can go ahead, I'm going to turn that down to 0 because I want that in the center. And this is what it looks like. Now we can go ahead and turn up and down the blur. If we turn up the blur, let's say 30, it does fade it a little bit. So it looks a little bit nicer in my opinion. And you could actually spread how far out the glow goes. I'm going to go ahead and just turn it down to 5 and I'll leave this at 20. We did turn it to white, but you could also customize the opacity as well. The opacity slider right here. So if you don't want it too bold, too in your face, you can go ahead and do that as well. And last but not least, you do have an inner shadow as well. If you do want your own border, you do want your own kind of overlays and you know how to do that, you can just customize it like that. But one of my favorite settings is the drop shadow that's here. So as you can see here, if we turn up the opacity, you can kind of see what it does to your text. It does just surround the border itself and the username. Now let's go ahead and just make it look better by maybe selecting purple as well. And we're going to leave it centered here. And so you can have kind of like a glowy effect. This might look a little weird because we did change the opacity on the border itself. So we can go ahead and go back to color, go back to background, and turn up the opacity all the way. Now you don't have any of that glow kind of going through the border itself. And if we go back to shadow settings, we can turn down the opacity a little bit there. Maybe we can even change the color. So this looks kind of like a black light. And there you have it. So this on screen here, this is just one of many examples on how you can personalize and make your kind of bubbled text chat unique. Let's go ahead and say, yes, this is what we want to do. And we're going to go ahead and just save it. You can go ahead and title your source as, I'm going to name it ChatBox Purple. I'm gonna save it as well. We're gonna go ahead and put this in our broadcasting software of our choice. We're gonna click on copy overlay URL, and then again copy overlay URL of the completed scene. Now don't close this scene, or this browser, this tab, wherever you have it open. We're gonna go back to it in a little bit, but we're gonna go ahead and put it in our browser software first. So I do have OBS open right here. My OBS might look a little bit different. We're gonna go ahead and add a source, and then add a browser. We're gonna go ahead and just add ChatBox 3 TV. I'm just gonna add it like that. And this is where you're gonna copy and paste, so you can just go ahead and delete that. Control V. I'm just gonna go ahead and do 1920 by 1080. And then there you go. So in order for you to actually see this and edit this while the test chat is going on, make sure you go back to the browser software itself and save it. And then once you come back, you should be able to see the test chat pop up. So you can go ahead and just customize where you want it to be, how you want it to show up. And like I said before, it is just in the middle for this video. You can resize it by going back into the software and resizing it yourself. I'm just gonna snap it to the bottom and leave it here. Okay, yeah, so I just added an image so it's easier to see. Don't worry about it. And before I do end off this video, just make sure you go back to owned.tv. You're gonna turn off test mode and then hide old messages. And then after 30 seconds, these messages should disappear, of course. There you go. And then if you actually don't want to hide any old messages, like you kind of like to have context on screen or whatnot, you can just uncheck that and then save it again. And then here you have your scene here. You're pretty much good to go back to overview. And then here it'll be under my scenes, and there you have it. You have your own, a handful of customization available for a bubble text chat. No subscription, no coding, and no downloading at all required. You can definitely mess around with it a lot, and if you do know how to make your own overlays, you can make your own borders for the chat itself. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure you give it a like and comment down below what you thought of this chat box specifically. I looked through StreamLabs, Stream Elements, and Sound Alerts, and it took me a while to find it. I went through all of those options, and I feel like this is just the best one, the easiest one to get to. This is also my first tutorial, so again, if you did enjoy this, make sure to let me know. Again, I do go live occasionally on Twitch, and I do make gaming videos here. Who knows, I'll probably make more tutorials in the future, but if you're still watching, I do appreciate it. And again, like the video if you enjoyed or it helped, and subscribe if you do want to see more from me. But other than that, guys, I'll see you next one.